In recent years, governments have launched secret investigations. Telescopes have captured strange images, and military personnel have reported encounters they could not explain.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
Some of these stories have scientific explanations. Others remain officially unresolved. So stay with me as I break them down, piece by piece, in this video. It honestly sounds like something straight out of a movie, but the US government really did run a secret program called AATIP to study UFO sightings.
The purpose of the program, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was really designed to do just that. From a national security perspective, identify those things that we see and try to ascertain and determine if that information is a potential threat to national security.
The program focused on reports from Navy pilots who kept encountering strange flying objects moving faster and smoother than anything they recognized. When official footage was finally released, people around the world suddenly realized these stories weren't just internet rumors anymore. Some investigators say the program quietly stopped, while others believe it simply changed names and continued behind closed doors. That mystery is exactly what keeps the conversation alive today. Supporters think AATIP may have uncovered technology far beyond human engineering, while skeptics see it as routine defense research. Either way, this program pushed UFO discussions from conspiracy territory into real-world headlines.
We have identified some very, very interesting, anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological.
Mars crash image.
Now, a strange discovery in a recent NASA photo has some saying these visitors haven't just been observing Earth. Check out what we found on our next-door neighbor, Mars.
Sometimes a single image is enough to ignite an entire conspiracy theory. In one widely shared NASA photo, viewers claimed they spotted what looked like a crashed spacecraft resting on the surface of Mars. The object appeared metallic and oddly shaped compared to surrounding rocks, leading many to believe it could be wreckage from an ancient alien craft. Online investigators zoomed into the picture, analyzing shadows, angles, and reflections frame by frame.
Take a look at the moon. This is how a normal asteroid crash would look if it comes in at a shallow angle. However, on this specific trail leading up to the object, you don't see much of that. This object itself is still intact.
NASA explained that the object was likely a natural geological formation shaped by erosion and lighting conditions. But once an idea captures public imagination, it rarely disappears. Supporters continue debating whether the space agency overlooked something unusual or intentionally avoided deeper discussion. The image remains one of the internet's favorite examples of how mystery can grow from a single unexplained detail. Alien Probe 3I.
In our solar system, there has been an object the size of Manhattan called Atlas 3I passing through. A lot of experts think it's a big comet, but that may not be the case.
Imagine astronomers spotting an object entering our solar system from deep interstellar space and realizing it didn't originate here at all. That's exactly what happened with 3I Atlas. And almost instantly, the internet exploded with theories. Scientists described it as a natural comet, but some observers felt its movement looked unusually precise. Videos began circulating, claiming the object changed speed or reflected light in ways that seemed artificial.
Well, it could be that it was sent by some intelligent civilization elsewhere in the Milky Way. There could have been many technologies like us a long time ago, billions of years ago, and so the question is, are they out there? And the best way to find out is to check.
The possibility that humanity might be watching an alien probe passing quietly through space captured people's imagination overnight. Experts continue to explain the object using known physics, yet curiosity refuses to fade. Maybe it's just another cosmic traveler shaped by nature, or maybe it reminds us how little we truly understand about what moves silently between distant stars. Martian face mystery. Back in the 1970s, NASA's Viking orbiter sent images from Mars that showed something strange in a region called Cydonia. One particular photo appeared to reveal a giant human-like face staring up from the Martian surface.
Viking lander photographs, it was discovered that there was this weird-looking structure that looks for all the world in the Viking photos like a face.
Not long after, people began pointing out nearby shapes that looked eerily similar to pyramids.
It's not just a face, but on top of that, people saw what they call the D&M pyramid, which is this weird five-sided structure that looks like a five-sided pyramid. People were claiming this had to be artificial structure.
The images sparked worldwide fascination, with many believing they were evidence of an ancient civilization that once existed on Mars. Scientists later explained that lighting angles and shadows created the illusion, and higher resolution photos showed natural rock formations. Still, the mystery never completely faded. Supporters argue earlier images looked too symmetrical to be coincidence, while skeptics see a classic example of the human brain finding patterns where none exist. And even now, that rocky face still pops up in conversations, documentaries, and late-night debates, quietly keeping the legend alive. Starlink signal theory. When thousands of Starlink satellites began appearing in Earth's orbit, skywatchers noticed long chains of lights moving silently across the night sky. While the project aims to provide global internet coverage, some conspiracy theories suggest another purpose entirely. According to online speculation, the satellite network could act as a giant communication grid capable of detecting or even sending signals beyond Earth. Viral videos claimed unusual radio patterns or unexplained transmissions might indicate contact attempts with extraterrestrial intelligence. Elon Musk has publicly dismissed such ideas, stating no alien signals have been found. Still, the sheer scale of the satellite system makes it easy for imaginations to run wild. For believers, Starlink represents humanity's first accidental step toward cosmic communication, raising questions about who might already be listening. Area 51 technology. Few places on Earth carry as much mystery as Area 51. Officially, it's a classified U.S. Air Force testing facility located deep in the Nevada desert. Unofficially, many believe it's where recovered alien spacecraft are studied and reverse engineered.
I am convinced, based on my research and the individuals whom I've had contact in the U.S. intelligence community, that the U.S. government does indeed have craft that meet the description of many of the UFO reports.
Stories describe hidden hangars containing advanced craft, unknown materials, and technology far beyond current human capability. The secrecy surrounding the base only strengthened these beliefs, especially during decades when the government refused to acknowledge its existence. Former employees, alleged whistleblowers, and countless documentaries have added layers to the legend.
I have no doubts that Lazar actually was in a place where top secret investigations were going on. I'm not sure about all the details that have emerged from his account, but he certainly gives me the impression that he was actually there.
Skeptics argue that experimental military aircraft explain most sightings around the area. Still, Area 51 remains the ultimate symbol of UFO secrecy, a place where mystery, imagination, and classified reality blend into one enduring modern myth. Lonnie Zamora incident. What if you pulled over on a quiet New Mexico road and stumbled upon something out of this world? That's exactly what happened in 1964 to Officer Lonnie Zamora in Socorro. While chasing a speeding car, he heard a strange roar and spotted a white, oval-shaped craft sitting in a gully, supported by landing legs. Two small figures in white suits were moving nearby, and moments later, the craft shot into the sky in a burst of flame. At the scene, investigators found scorched earth, crushed plants, and distinct landing marks. Even the Air Force couldn't come up with an explanation after detailed study. Zamora stuck to his story for life, and it's the kind of incident that sticks in your mind, making ordinary roads feel a little less ordinary.
Well, that tourist came up here and wanted gasoline. He come from the south, and he said, your aircraft around here flies awful low. I said, well, how was that, sir? He said, well, it like knocked me off the road out there. But it must have been in trouble, so the policeman was going to it. So I asked him, was it the helicopter? He said, no. He says, it was a funny looking one.
Grush UFO testimony.
A House Oversight and Accountability Subcommittee held a historic hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UFOs.
One day, UFO discussions were mostly online debates, and the next, they were happening inside a U.S. congressional hearing. Former intelligence officer David Grush stepped forward and claimed secret programs existed to recover non-human craft.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years. I know the exact locations.
Hearing those words spoken under oath instantly grabbed global attention. Viewers watched lawmakers seriously question topics once dismissed as science fiction. Some people saw the testimony as brave whistleblowing, while others remained cautious because no physical evidence was publicly shown. Still, the tone of the hearing felt different from anything before it.
Biologics came with some of these recoveries.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to.
Governments were no longer laughing off the subject. Whether Grush revealed hidden truths or simply raised unanswered questions, that moment changed how openly society talks about UFOs, and made many wonder what information still remains classified. Soviet UFO secrets. Cold War history already feels mysterious, which is why Soviet UFO stories sound so believable to many people. During that era, information rarely reached the public, and secrecy surrounded military experiments and space research.
The problem that we had in the Soviet era prior to 1992, you're dealing with fundamentally a totalitarian system in which UFOs and USOs were not to be talked about.
Rumors began circulating that Soviet scientists investigated unexplained flying objects and possibly recovered strange materials from crashes. Alleged leaked reports described encounters witnessed by pilots and soldiers stationed in remote regions.
This was hugely unnerving for these highly trained military personnel, and it was quite unlike anything they'd ever seen or experienced before.
Because access to official archives remained limited for decades, speculation filled the gaps left by missing information. Some enthusiasts believe both the United States and the Soviet Union secretly competed to understand extraterrestrial technology while racing to space. And when you think about it, what if some of those files are still locked away somewhere? What if a dusty archive box is holding answers we haven't even imagined yet?
What we're dealing with here is very clearly advanced technology. So we have to draw the conclusion that perhaps this is some sort of extraterrestrial technology that we're dealing with.
Web alien structures.
Tonight, we're looking into posts being spread on social media. They claim the James Webb Space Telescope spotted a large object about 10 light years away moving toward Earth.
You know how everyone stops scrolling when something from deep space shows up on their screen? That's exactly what happened when the James Webb Space Telescope released its first deep space images. The clarity, the colors, the detail of distant galaxies, no one had ever seen like that before. It was unreal. But then, as always, some viewers started noticing shapes that looked a little too organized to be random. Soon, theories popped up about alien megastructures, advanced civilizations, even engineered star systems hiding in plain sight. Astronomers pointed out it's all gravitational lensing, star formation, and cosmic dust behaving exactly as physics predicts. Still, Webb lets us see deeper into the universe than ever before, and every new image feels like peeking through a window that might reveal something extraordinary. Blue Book cover-up. During the Cold War, the United States Air Force launched Project Blue Book to investigate thousands of UFO sightings reported by civilians and pilots.
I can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any agency of the United States.
Officially, the project concluded that most sightings had ordinary explanations and posed no threat to national security. However, many researchers believe Blue Book served another purpose, calming public concern, while more sensitive investigations stayed classified. Critics argue some unexplained cases were brushed aside too quickly, leaving questions about what was really discovered. Even documents released decades later showed officials genuinely confused by certain sightings. And when you think about it, whether it was science or just clever PR, it's the kind of story that keeps people swapping theories long after the files were closed. Nazca alien runways. High above the Peruvian desert lie massive geometric patterns known as the Nazca lines, visible only from the sky. Created thousands of years ago, these enormous shapes include animals, symbols, and perfectly straight lines stretching across miles of land. Because ancient civilizations lacked aircraft, some theorists propose the lines were designed as landing strips or signals for extraterrestrial visitors. The precision and scale of the designs continue to amaze researchers and tourists alike. Archaeologists explain that the Nazca people likely created them for religious or ceremonial purposes connected to astronomy and water rituals. Yet the mystery of how such large artworks were planned without aerial views keeps the alien hypothesis alive in popular culture. The Nazca Desert still invites people to imagine who those giant markings were truly meant for. Alien beacon bursts. In recent years, astronomers detected powerful flashes of radio energy coming from distant galaxies, known as fast radio bursts. These signals last only milliseconds yet release enormous amounts of energy, making them one of space science's biggest puzzles.
With more research, astronomers confirmed that the signal wasn't just a glitch, and it came from at least 3 billion light years away. The question was, what caused it?
While most scientists think they come from natural events like magnetars or collapsing stars,
in the past decade, astronomers have come up with a few ideas about what might be causing them. One option is that the FRBs come from collapsing neutron stars, the rapidly spinning, ridiculously dense cores left over after certain stars go supernova.
some theorists imagine something far more extraordinary. Some even suggest the bursts could be artificial signals, like beacons from advanced civilizations trying to reach across the cosmos. Patterns in repeating bursts keep fueling ideas about hidden messages. And honestly, whether they're natural or not, these mysterious flashes are exactly the kind of thing that makes you pause and stare at the night sky, thinking anything might be possible. Hidden SETI signals.
You may have heard about this signal originally found by Russian astronomers in 2015 actually, that might be a signal from a star system 95 light years away.
The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, known as SETI, scans the universe for radio signals that might indicate intelligent life. Because of its mission, conspiracy theories often claim scientists have already detected alien transmissions, but chose not to reveal them publicly. Supporters argue governments or research institutions might suppress discoveries to prevent global panic or maintain control over technological advantages.
We've been looking for this signal using the Allen telescope array. We spent 2 nights looking for it. We couldn't find it. So what was it? Could it have been ET and then for some reason they went off the air? Or could it have been terrestrial interference?
SETI researchers strongly deny such claims, emphasizing that all confirmed data is openly shared with the scientific community. Still, occasional unexplained signals spark renewed debate each time they appear in headlines. The famous WOW signal from 1977 continues to fuel curiosity decades later. Whether misunderstood cosmic noise or something more meaningful, the belief that humanity might already have received a message remains one of space exploration's most captivating ideas. Lunar structure claims. Ever since high-resolution images of the moon became publicly available, internet investigators have searched them for unusual structures and shadows. Some claim NASA photographs reveal towers, domes, or geometric shapes suggesting artificial construction on the lunar surface. Others point to strange light reflections or moving shadows interpreted as evidence of hidden activity. Scientists explain that most anomalies result from lighting angles, camera artifacts, or natural geological formations shaped by impacts over billions of years. Still, the moon's quiet and largely unexplored environment makes it a perfect canvas for speculation. Because only a small portion of humanity has ever visited its surface, mystery naturally fills the gaps in direct knowledge. These lunar anomalies continue encouraging people to wonder whether our closest cosmic neighbor hides secrets yet to be understood. Martian structure claims. As Mars rovers send back thousands of detailed photographs, viewers around the world examine every rock and shadow, searching for signs of past life. Occasionally, images appear to show straight lines, square formations, or objects that resemble artificial debris. One viral example involved what looked like a perfectly square structure, while another showed something interpreted as a plastic-like object resting on the ground.
Enhanced images puts sort of extra sharp edges in there and completes an entire square. The enhanced images really help you think it's something other than a natural formation. What could it be?
Scientists attribute these sightings to erosion patterns, fractured rocks, or equipment debris from rover missions themselves. However, the human brain naturally recognizes familiar shapes, which keeps theories alive. For enthusiasts, each unusual image represents a potential clue pointing toward an ancient Martian civilization. And really, even when science provides an answer, it's hard not to lean closer to the screen, imagining what might have once walked, built, or existed on that dusty, red world. Military alien encounters. Across decades of UFO stories, one of the most persistent claims is that military forces around the world have already encountered extraterrestrial beings. Former service members and alleged insiders have described strange craft disabling weapon systems, hovering silently over bases, or appearing during training missions.
Oh, there it is, over to the left. Wow. And yes, people call them flares. Of course they did. But the fact is, when you see something with your own eyes, even if it's on a video camera, suddenly your perspective changes.
Some accounts even mention attempted communication between pilots and whatever intelligence seemed to control those objects. Supporters believe governments hide these encounters to prevent panic or safeguard advanced discoveries. Skeptics point to high-stress flight conditions, experimental aircraft, or natural phenomena as more reasonable explanations. Testimonies from trained personnel, however, keep the subject alive. And when you hear disciplined professionals describe things that don't fit any known technology, it naturally makes you lean in a little closer and wonder what might really be happening behind closed hangar doors. Trans-en-Provence case. An unusual UFO incident from 1981 drew attention because it involved physical evidence rather than dramatic eyewitness claims. A farmer in southern France reported seeing a strange object briefly land in his field before quietly flying away.
Forma c'était come se on posait due assiette, l'una sull'altra.
Sì, che io avevo ronda. Tu va, maintenant commence à revenir l'herbe, ma là ils ont coupé beaucoup de fois. Et ici.
He avoided publicity and simply informed local authorities about what happened. Investigators later examined the area and collected soil samples from the landing site. Laboratory tests revealed compressed ground and chemical changes that scientists could not easily explain.
There was a full scientific study showing that some changes were brought to the plants near the place where the UFO landed.
France's official UFO research agency documented the case carefully and treated it seriously. The witness remained calm and consistent throughout questioning, adding credibility to the report. Even years later, researchers reviewing the evidence failed to identify any known aircraft, machinery, or natural phenomenon responsible, leaving the incident officially unexplained.
I was working in the fields when I saw a strange object. I tried to get closer. I was about 30 meters from it when I saw it. Only when it took off, 30 or 40 seconds later, could I really notice its shape and form.
Rendlesham Forest Incident. Not all UFO stories happen high above us. Sometimes they land right on the ground. In December 1980, U.S. Air Force personnel stationed in England spotted strange lights descending into Rendlesham Forest near their base. Soldiers, curious and cautious, entered the woods to investigate. Some reported seeing a small, glowing craft resting on the forest floor, covered in strange symbols, while others saw lights moving silently between the trees, even shooting beams into the sky. Radiation readings were taken, and audio recordings captured the soldiers' reactions in real time.
Who's heading north? Okay, here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now.
Senior officers documented everything in official reports, which were later released publicly. Authorities tried to explain it away as natural lights or misinterpretations. But when trained military personnel encounter something they can't identify, the mystery only deepens, leaving Rendlesham Forest as one of the most compelling ground-level UFO cases ever. Kenneth Arnold sighting. June 1947 changed aviation history when private pilot Kenneth Arnold spotted something no one could explain near Mount Rainier. While flying, he saw 9 bright objects racing across the sky at speeds far beyond any aircraft he knew. He compared their movement to skipping across water, and newspapers misinterpreted it, coining the term flying saucers. Arnold wasn't seeking attention. He was a credible pilot reporting exactly what he witnessed.
Right here, we've seen something, I've seen something, hundreds of pilots have seen something, and we have 15 million witnesses before anybody's going to look into the problem seriously.
His sighting sparked a nationwide surge of UFO reports within just a few weeks. Military officials interviewed him seriously, trying to figure out what kind of craft could move that fast. No explanation was ever confirmed. Arnold's detailed and professional account didn't just start a story. It marked the moment UFOs went from rumor to headline, forever changing how the world saw the skies. Roswell UFO Incident. In July 1947, a strange crash on a ranch in Roswell, New Mexico, grabbed national attention and changed the way people thought about UFOs. The U.S. Army initially announced they had recovered a flying disc, sparking excitement and fear across the country. Just hours later, the statement was replaced, claiming it was only a weather balloon, fueling decades of suspicion. Witnesses reported strange metal debris that couldn't be bent or burned, completely unlike anything known. The government later pointed to a classified balloon project, but the explanation never fully satisfied the public. Roswell quickly became the starting point of modern UFO culture, inspiring countless books, films, and discussions. Today, the event stands as one of the most iconic and debated incidents in UFO history, shaping how the world views unexplained phenomena. Washington, D.C. UFO radar wave. July 1952 turned the skies over Washington, D.C. into a nationwide mystery. Radar operators at several airports tracked objects moving in impossible ways, sharp turns, sudden stops, and unpredictable paths. Meanwhile, pilots and civilians reported strange glowing lights hovering above the city. The Air Force scrambled jets to intercept them, but the objects vanished whenever the planes got close, only to reappear on radar once the jets landed. A massive press conference followed, where officials blamed temperature inversions.
And analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States. In pursuit of this obligation, since 1947, we have received and analyzed between 1,000 and 2,000 reports that have come to us from all kinds of sources.
Though scientists quickly questioned that explanation, tensions ran high during the Cold War, making the event even more unsettling. And even now, decades later, it's the kind of story you can't help but bring up when talking about UFOs, the kind that makes you wonder what really danced across those summer skies. Travis Walton abduction. Picture being out in the forest with your team, just finishing a day of work, when suddenly one of your coworkers disappears right before your eyes. That's exactly what happened in 1975 to Travis Walton and his logging crew. They spotted a glowing object hovering among the trees, and when Walton approached, a sudden flash made him vanish entirely. Search parties combed the area for days, but came up empty, until 5 days later, Walton reappeared. He told investigators he had woken up inside an unfamiliar craft, surrounded by beings that weren't human. The crew underwent lie detector tests, and most passed, keeping the story in the spotlight. True or not, this case is legendary, sparking endless debates and fascination, and remains one of the most famous alien abduction stories ever documented. Tehran UFO Incident. It started like any normal evening, but what happened next left everyone baffled. Back in 1976, residents of Tehran kept seeing a bright, mysterious object hovering in the sky.
No matter how good a UFO sighting seems to be, it's always true that there will be skeptics who are going to try to take it down. They'll put it in their crosshairs and they will do everything they can to try to make it seem conventional, explainable, prosaic. And that's definitely the case with the Iranian UFO of 1976.
Prompting the military to investigate. Fighter jets were scrambled, but as soon as one pilot approached, his controls mysteriously went off. Once he pulled back, everything worked again. But the same thing happened to a second jet. Pilots also reported a smaller light detaching from the main object, moving independently, and even showing up on radar. A detailed report was later sent to U.S. intelligence, marking the event as serious and completely unexplained. No known aircraft or weather phenomenon could explain it.
Residents of citizens in the city who are seeing a very intense bright light in the sky that seems to have multiple colors, depending on the caller. There's blues, there's yellows, there's reds, and there's a lot of flashing. So it's something highly unusual.
Shag Harbor Incident. Imagine living in a quiet fishing village and seeing something glowing plunge straight into the ocean. This actually happened in Shag Harbor, Canada, back in 1967. Locals first thought it was a plane crash, so they called the authorities immediately. The Coast Guard arrived, expecting wreckage, but instead discovered strange yellow foam floating on the water. Divers went down to search, but found absolutely nothing. Government records later confirmed the object wasn't a plane. It was officially classified as a UFO. Naval forces investigated quietly for several days, then mysteriously stopped without giving any explanations. What really sets this case apart is that it's one of the rare UFO incidents officially recognized as unsolved.
Here's where we come back and everybody come and watch the light. And here's where the light was first in the water and it drifted there and went out. Wow. And here's where the RCMP officer was. There's his car. He was somewhere across there when he see it, and that's where he called it in.
Cash Landrum Incident. You won't believe what happened to this family on a quiet Texas highway back in 1980. A woman was driving with her granddaughter and a friend when suddenly a massive diamond-shaped object appeared in the sky, hovering right over the road. The heat from it was so intense, they had to pull over immediately. Not long after, military helicopters showed up, seemingly guiding the mysterious craft away.
How long did the craft hover over you?
Oh, about 20 minutes. Fire was coming out of the bottom like a blowtorch. It lifted up and then flew over the trees.
When the water touched his skin, he cried out like he had been burned, as if he had been in the sun too long.
Hours later, all three started feeling horribly sick. Their symptoms weren't minor: burns, hair loss, and serious long-term health issues plagued them.
And I was too sick to work the next day. My eyes swelled closed and welts appeared on my face and head. I thought I was going to die.
Doctors documented everything, making it impossible to just brush off as a hallucination. Many think this was a secret military experiment gone wrong. What makes Cash Landrum so chilling is that it's not just a UFO story. It's proof that people were physically harmed.
I just stood there terrified for about 10 minutes. The object lit up the surrounding pine woods like it was daylight. I was burning, my skin was burning.
Lubbock Lights. The night skies over Lubbock, Texas, became a source of wonder and mystery in 1951 when strange lights began appearing above the city. Witnesses described them moving silently in perfect V-shaped formation, gliding smoothly as if guided by an unseen hand. The story gained credibility because several professors from Texas Tech University saw the lights firsthand and admitted they had no explanation.
It gives a clear indication of a kind of cell type or beehive type structure underneath, which is very interesting because it matched nicely with witness descriptions of the Roswell object.
Photographs captured the phenomenon, forcing the U.S. Air Force to respond publicly. Analysts struggled to match the formations and unusual speeds with any known aircraft or natural cause. The sightings continued for weeks, keeping the community captivated and anxious. Lubbock Lights are remembered as one of the earliest UFO cases involving credible, educated observers, demonstrating that some encounters defied simple explanation and challenged conventional understanding. Tic Tac Encounter.
Thanks to some remarkable videotape and first-hand accounts from very sober people who are trained to identify aircraft. That would include this video. It shows two Navy pilots encountering something bizarre off the east coast of the United States.
The 2004 Tic Tac Encounter completely changed how the world views unidentified aerial phenomena. While training off the U.S. coast, Navy pilots noticed a strange object on radar, behaving in ways no known aircraft could. As they approached, they saw a white, oval-shaped craft with no wings or exhaust. Capable of dropping from high altitude to sea level in seconds. Infrared cameras captured the event, and multiple tracking systems confirmed it. Years later, the Pentagon officially verified the videos, confirming they were real and unexplained. No explanation was ever given, and no nation claimed the technology. This incident didn't just shock the public, it marked a turning point. The Tic Tac Encounter showed that these phenomena are not rumors or hoaxes. They're documented, tracked, and remain a mystery that even the military can't explain.